Hey kids! Today we're going to explore some amazing desert landscapes around the world. Have you ever seen a real desert? They're super cool. They can be really hot places or really cold. We're going to learn all about what makes a desert, and we're going to see some really cool pictures and videos of deserts from all over the planet. Are you ready to explore? I am. Let's go! First, let's talk about hot deserts. Hot deserts are some of the biggest places on Earth. They're huge and they're really, really hot. They get super duper hot during the day because the sun beats down on them and there aren't very many trees or plants. Hot deserts don't get a lot of rain. Sometimes it doesn't rain for a whole year in the desert. Can you imagine that? No rain for a whole year. That's why the ground is mostly sand or even just rocks. Because it's so hot and dry, not a lot of things can live in the desert. But there are still some really cool animals and plants that call the hot desert home. We're going to meet them in a little bit, so keep watching. But even though it's really hot and dry, the desert is still a really amazing place. Let's go check it out. This is the Sahara Desert. It's the biggest hot desert in the whole world. It's in Africa. Wow, look at all that sand. It's like a giant sandbox. But look, what's that? It's a green spot in the middle of all that sand. It's an oasis. Oases are like little pieces of paradise in the desert. They have water from underground so plants can grow there. And since there are plants, animals can live there too. People can live there too. How cool is that? The Gurara Oasis is in a country called Algeria. Let's go see what it's like. Now we're in Morocco. Morocco is another country in Africa. This is Merzouga, and it's famous for its giant sand dunes. Wow, look at how big they are. They're like mountains made of sand. The wind pushes the sand around and creates these amazing shapes. Some of them are even taller than buildings. Can you imagine sliding down one of these giant sand dunes? Whee! That would be so much fun. Lots of people come to Merzouga to ride camels and explore the sand dunes. Camels are amazing animals. They can walk for days in the desert without needing a drink of water. How cool is that? The desert is full of surprises. Let's go see what else we can find. Now we're in the United States! This is Dead Horse Point. It's a desert, but it doesn't have a lot of sand. It has lots of rocks. That's why it's called a desert. Look at all those amazing rock formations. They look like giant sculptures. The wind and the rain have been carving these rocks for millions of years. Can you imagine how old they are? Dead Horse Point is a really cool place to visit. You can go hiking, camping, and even horseback riding, and the views are amazing. But be careful when you're exploring the desert. It's easy to get lost, and it's important to bring lots of water with you. Did you know that there are deserts that are cold? Brr! It gets super cold, even colder than your freezer, and it snows all the time. The coldest deserts are at the North Pole and the South Pole. The North Pole is at the very top of the Earth, and the South Pole is at the very bottom. Not a lot of things can live in the cold desert because it's so cold and icy. But some animals, like polar bears, penguins, and seals, love the cold. They have special fur or blubber that keeps them warm even when it's freezing outside. Let's go see what it's like in the cold desert. This is the Arctic. It's a giant cold desert at the top of the world. Look at all that ice. It covers the ground like a giant white blanket. It's so cold here that the ocean freezes over. Can you imagine walking on water? You can do that here in the Arctic. But don't worry, the ice is really thick. The Arctic is home to lots of amazing animals like polar bears, Arctic foxes, and reindeer. They've all adapted to survive in this cold, icy environment. The Arctic is a really special place. Thanks for exploring these amazing desert landscapes with me.